Welcome to HCS Talks. I'm your host, Superintendent of Hampton City Schools, Raymond Haynes. This is our second season of HCS Talks, our Hampton City Schools podcast. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain not just our local community, but also listeners far and wide. In each episode, we dive into a variety of topics, from education and student success to the hard work of our teachers, support staff, parents, and community partners. We will also shine a spotlight on different community programs, initiatives, and more, offering valuable insights for everyone. To our loyal listeners, thank you for your continued support. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We hope you will stick around and keep listening to HCS Talks. Today, I have the opportunity to sit down with Dr. Jennifer Oliver, our Director of Community and Government Relations. So welcome, Dr. Oliver. Thank you for joining us today on HCS Talks. Before we dive into our discussion, please introduce yourself to the listening audience.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Haynes, and congratulations on your 30th episode this year of your podcast. It's been wonderful to share this with our community. So as you mentioned, I'm Jennifer Oliver. I serve as the Director of Community and Government Relations for Hampton City Schools. And I am a 20-year resident of Virginia. I can't believe it's been that long. Moved down here from Rhode Island and initially was really only planning on staying here for a couple years, but my son was a Hampton City Schools student and absolutely was just having a fantastic time and, ended up staying just because we just felt like this was such a wonderful place for us to raise our family. So have had the opportunity to work in Hampton City Schools. 2006 is when I started and really am a great example of when people see things in you that you don't see of yourself. You were part of that and kind of supported me along my journey here. And now
You left us a few times. I still had
I
faith
did.
and belief in the great things that you could do for our school system and our community.
You did. And there was always the certainty to come back. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to continue this journey with you all.
So you're from Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
And you have been here for
20 years.
20 years. You still have family in Rhode Island?
I have family in Connecticut, friends in Rhode Island. So get to go home every once in a while. But again, I'm a fan of the warm climate here. So try to stay in Virginia as often as possible.
And you mentioned your son. Where did he attend school while he was here?
So Kyler graduated from Kecoughtan High School and went to move on to working at Ohio State. So he is having a great career there and now have a 9-year-old daughter who's at Cooper Elementary. And just, again, she's having a great experience there with the Cooper staff.
Does Kyler still share with you that I was the greatest principal?
He's mentioned that a couple times when he comes home and checks on us. He wants you to know that he remembers everything that you've done and that you served as a great principal, and your picture's there. So
at the Ohio State, so he's enjoying his career thus far?
He is, and he really attributes to his success based off of the opportunities he had here at Hampton. So
that's great.
Great ambassador.
Great. He was certainly a great student and even better individual. So you all did a great job at raising him and being the great young man that he is as well. You see, you have a daughter that attends Cooper.
Yes, sir. She may be the future Academy ambassador. She certainly loves the leadership spotlight there and the opportunities. So she's engaged in the Future Focus program and all the STEM activities. So yeah,
she's having a great experience.
Oh, she is
formulating and shaping herself into being the portrait of a Hampton
She
grad.
is. She very much is excited about those experiences.
So, Dr. Oliver, how does your department, let's jump into your role with Hampton City Schools now as the Director of Community and Government Relations. How does your department support and strengthen the relationship between the school division and our community?
Yeah. So, one of the incredible aspects of our community is just that between Hampton City Schools and the city of Hampton, and even many of the partners on the peninsula, there are just deeply shared goals to not only transform the lives of our students, but also transform the lives that are in our community. So, whenever I'm in these spaces and meetings, people are always asking me, like, what is Hampton's secret to success in terms of these signature experiences with the academies and making sure that our students are graduating on time and are college and career ready. And really the secret is the strength in our partnerships. And so I think one of the things that Hampton does very well is we just don't wait for opportunities to come to us. We are actively engaging in our partnerships with them. And so, a couple of examples are just annually we host the Community Priorities Workshop. So inviting, hundreds of partners from all different areas to come and make sure that we're aligning the needs of our community with our strategic priorities in academics. We also partner with the city of Hampton. So we host the Hampton 101 tours where we're bringing community members into the schools and showcasing what's good and great. And then, we of course want to celebrate what our partners do for us and also celebrate the work that's happening in the schools. And so an example of that is bringing that celebration to our community. And we have, this past year, we hosted our first Community of Excellence event. It was just a day full of fun, music, food, and vendors. And so we highlighted and celebrated our successes and included our partnerships. So I think really what we're doing is we are building this welcoming environment that highlights not only ensuring success for our students, but recognizing and celebrating what that looks like with our partners as well.
That's great information. You mentioned the Community Priorities Workshop. Maybe I'll get into Hampton 101 in a bit, but the Community Priorities Workshop, we engage a lot of internal and external stakeholders.
Correct.
And part of what I believe helps us to showcase the great things about Hampton City Schools and what our staff and young people are able to produce is the awareness component. So talk a little bit about who some of those stakeholders are and what message are they receiving once they participate in something like this.
Yeah, so one of the messages that I think is so powerful when you speak with our building representatives and our building administrators is that notion of a brand ambassador. And that's something that when we invite partners into the schools and we align the work that we're doing in our schools, by sharing that information, those partners become brand ambassadors, right? And so representatives that often function outside of academics. So, for example, we have a lot of nonprofit organizations that join us. We have military representatives. We have very large businesses like Huntington Ingalls, Ferguson. But then we also have some of, local businesses. And when we start to share what we're doing, they become brand ambassadors. And then when they speak with those individuals outside of education, they can start to share what's good and great in Hampton. So
we certainly can't leave out the real estate agents.
And our real estate agents, we are so fortunate to have a lot of support from our local real estate agents. We know that they are the first line in many cases to families choosing Hampton. So making sure that they stay well informed of everything that we're doing as well.
And one of the things I think highlights the great things we're doing as a community is we have the city intimately involved in this as well. So there's collaboration with city council members, the city manager, the mayor and vice mayor. They are all a part of this community priorities workshop to show folks who may be new to the area that we operate as one, and that whole one community, one transformation excellence with intentionality is something that we just don't say. We actually model it as well.
Correct.
So the Hampton 101, can you briefly talk about what
Sure.
that entails?
Yeah, so the Hampton 101 works in collaboration with the Neighborhood Development Office. And so what they do is they work in conjunction with Hampton City Schools, and they usually have about 20 to 30 community members that want to come in and tour the schools or learn about what we're doing. And so we've hosted several of them, both at the middle school and elementary school level. And again, it's just a great way for our school administrators to highlight what they're doing in the schools, and give those community partners the firsthand information that they need, or that they're curious about. We really get some great feedback from that partnership.
Again, that awareness, and even if there are military families
Correct.
participating in this, they can also get firsthand experience about what the school has to offer, what the community
Correct.
has to offer, and then hopefully share that with other prospective parents who are coming into the area.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you work with local and state government officials to advocate for our schools and
Yeah.
students?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, working with like the local government officials and even the state government officials really it's a very seamless process. They are so invested in the success of our students, and so the key to that is just that open communication throughout the year. Certainly prior to General Assembly, we're working with our local delegates. We're working with Senator Locke, just to address key topics, and share information that may have direct implications on our students and our families. But what we want to do is just maintain strong relationships with them throughout the year, and so that when they do go to General Assembly or they are looking at some different bills, that those bills directly align with what is best for our families and our students. So, again, we've gone up to General Assembly a couple times this year and just really enjoy and appreciate the work that they do on behalf of our families and our community.
It really allows us to feel as though we have a voice in making
Correct.
decisions that impact our schools and community as a whole.
Correct. And they really do. They want their constituents to reach out, and they very much value the needs of our community. And we recognize our needs are different than other places in the state. So we're very fortunate to have such a great group of delegates.
So we also have something called Take Your Legislator to School Day.
Yes, we do.
And
Sure
talk
do.
a little bit about what that entails.
Sure. So take your legislator to work or take your legislator to school day is just an opportunity where our delegates can come into the classroom. We've hosted them at, again, multiple different schools, either elementary. This year we hosted that at Phoebus High School. And so they were able to come in and observe the students in the ACE Academy, and listen. The students prepared before the delegates came there, and they shared with them, some areas that they wanted to see, be advocated for on their behalf. And so, again, it's just a great place for our students to come, or for the delegates to come in, meet with our students, talk to the teachers, and then, go back out and share that information with the community. So.
And I did observe, I think I went to Phoebus that day where I think Delegate Ward was sort of
Yes.
modeling what the process looked like.
Correct.
And sort of held a mock procedure for them about what to say and how to say it and how the rules of order were in place. So
Correct.
very powerful for them to have that sort of practical experience behind this whole process.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And we have students that are actually pages this year up in Richmond. So students that I believe are right here from Jones are pages up there. So really exciting for them to actually be up
Nice.
there and see what's going on.
So, Dr. Oliver, how can community members and families get more involved in supporting Hampton City Schools?
So we get that question quite often, and I just think that is a tremendous opportunity that we have here in our community. So obviously, the first thing that community partners can do is just tune into the podcast. I mean, what we're sharing and the conversations that you're having are timely, and they have a great impact across our community. Also, just paying attention to social media, like from Hampton City Schools, what we're releasing, information through HCS Extra Mail. Those are passive ways to stay connected to what's happening in Hampton. But for those individuals that really want to actually have more of a direct impact, there's opportunities to volunteer. And that's something that if there are community members that would like to volunteer either their time or their skills, we can begin that process. And there's also opportunities to support the Academies of Hampton experiences. And now that we know that those opportunities align, from our kindergarten through 12th, we're going to have a great need for our community members to showcase their experiences in their professions to young people. We also have opportunities to support the Hampton Education Foundation. So that's our 501(c) section where they support our teachers. And then, of course, the old joining your parent-teacher association. We have a great leadership, and so, again, not necessarily an expectation of time or money to make an impact there, but it does make an impact for the schools. So those are just a couple different ways I think people can engage based off of what works for them.
So with the Academies of Hampton, we would look for perhaps folks the sharing of their time and expertise, as well as perhaps eventually being on some of the advisory boards that the academies and specific pathways have to offer. The Hampton Education Foundation, can you talk a little bit more about that? You said it's a 501(c)(3).
Yeah.
Talk about what that does and how
sure.
a person's involvement could greatly impact the work that we're doing in the system.
So the Hampton Education Foundation works a lot with alumni. They also make contacts with individuals that maybe want to make monetary contributions to the teachers. And so what they do is throughout the year, they build these partnerships and sponsorship opportunities. And so that money goes directly into the classroom. So for example, this past year, working with the executive director of Hampton Education Foundation, they and their board, we raised over $73,000 to go directly into the classroom. That benefited over 167 teachers and great activities. So they support grants. They also host the Hampton Education Fest every year, which is a great opportunity for people to come listen to some music. So again, that money is going directly back to our teachers and educational opportunities for our students.
Wow. It's certainly something worth showcasing and highlighting to ensure more folks get involved with that as well. We know we have a large military presence here in Hampton Roads, as well as Joint Base Langley Eustis in our backyard. So how does Hampton City Schools support military-connected students and their families?
Yeah, so last year you had Colonel Altman, the base commander, on one of your podcasts, and he said something that I think has really resonated with me in this role, and he said that we as a school division, how we support the families allows the troops to be mission ready or military ready. And I think that we take that very seriously here in Hampton. Obviously, our main goal is to ease that transition for students and parents who are moving frequently, but we want to give their students the best opportunities while they are here in Hampton. And sometimes it's only for a couple years. Sometimes they are fortunate enough to stay longer, but really what we want to do is make sure that when they are here, we are ready for their transition. We can support them either through social support or even just connections with other students. So one of the main ways that we've done that is we have redesigned our webpage. And so our webpage now is intended to give military families looking to come to Hampton, all the information they need up front. So everything about after school care, special education, all different types of things. We also work closely with the school liaison officers, and all branches are represented. And so they have become my right hand, so to say, in just communication between the bases and families that are either PCSing here or even moving out of the area. And then something else I think that is a really important area to just share with the community is that the base leadership has heavily involved us in many of their meetings and their organizational opportunities. And so even as we're seeing the bases change leadership, we are involved in those conversations, and so again, we want to work together and make it so that we are supporting their mission, and I think we've done a great job. There will always be more work to do based off of the needs of the military, but we're certainly seeing some great work here in Hampton.
So, very powerful reflection on that and that comment regarding mission and military ready. And that is, if we're able to provide that sense of calmness and safe and nurturing environment to ensure that the parents who are in the military stay mission and military ready.
Correct.
Then that is something we take great pride in. But
absolutely.
We also want to make certain that we are continuing to be a part of any process and structure that they have in place to enhance the awareness of what our school system has to offer and why folks should choose Hampton City Schools
Correct.
As well.
Yep.
So Hampton City Schools now boasts a total of 16 Purple Star designated schools. Can you share with the listening audience what is a Purple Star school and why it is important?
Sure. Well, we are so proud of our 16 Purple Star schools and that designation by the VDOE. These schools receive that distinguished designation based off of their evidence of proving that they are a welcoming and supporting environment for students. And so what that does is that means that they are intentionally providing these academically and socially connected opportunities so that when students transition to our school district, they feel a seamless transition. This is also a status that is recognized among the military communities. So when families are looking to relocate to an area, they do pay attention to Purple Star status. And so that increases the likelihood that our families will choose Hampton as a place to enroll their students. And so we want to make sure that we are supporting the schools that receive that designation, but we are always looking to support the schools that are aspiring to get that designation. So again, we're seeing great strides and just looking forward. That opportunity comes annually. So in April, we'll see some more opportunities for applications for Purple Star.
So I know we're also looking at the possibility of being a Purple Star school division.
Correct. That would be that all of our schools were designated as Purple Star schools. And so that is what we're working towards. Absolutely. We have already had conversations with Dan Dunham, who oversees the Purple Stars across the state, and he is very confident that we are well on our way.
On our way. Mm-hmm. And that way it doesn't matter. So I don't want folks just coming here and looking at just the 16. We want to make certain we showcase and highlight our support, regardless of what school the families choose to attend.
Absolutely. It becomes our lifestyle, our culture, right?
Part of the culture. So next month is April, and April is the month of the military child. And Purple Up is a big part of that. Can you explain what Purple Up is and why is it important?
Sure. So I am going to actually ask you a fun fact, Dr. Haynes. Do you know why the color purple is associated with the military child?
I should, but I do not, being a military child myself.
I was hoping you didn't know the answer to that. So purple is the color that symbolizes the support of our military families, and that combines all the colors of each branch of the military. So if we were to combine all those colors into one unified color, it's purple. So that is a fun fact.
That is a great fun fact to learn. So purple is the ultimate color.
It is. It is all the colors of the military branches. So green, blue, red. Yes. So Hampton City Schools is proud to announce that we will be hosting Purple Up Day on Wednesday, April 2nd. That is our designated Purple Up Day. And so what that does is that just allows us to really honor the families and celebrate all together, so we want to acknowledge those that have served, those that have family members that have served, those that are actively serving, and we get all of the schools excited about it. Just give the schools do some really creative events throughout the day, and so we just want to bring that awareness to our community. We even involved the city of Hampton, and so last year we lit up City Hall purple. We also lit up the Virginia Air and Space Center purple, so we're looking forward to doing that again. We'll have purple across the city.
Always an exciting time and an exciting day, and just another way of us recognizing and appreciating the military and the military families that choose Hampton as well. So what excites you most about the future of Hampton City Schools and its community engagement efforts?
So what excites me is just the growing emphasis on building more stronger and inclusive connections between the school division and our community. So as Hampton is expanding their outreach efforts and aligning our K-12 with the academy, I think what that does is that allows us to create these intentional opportunities for learning, which then creates these intentional alignment opportunities with our partners. So us just continuing to focus on that communication and those innovative programs, I think it's going to create a positive place where we'll all want to just learn and work and love our community.
Outstanding. You do a fabulous job at connecting the homeschooling community for Hampton City Schools. If you could leave our listeners with one key takeaway about the importance of strong school-community relationships, what would it be?
So my key takeaway is that everyone can make a difference. So no matter where you're from, no matter what your interests are, everybody can make a difference. And we really, truly are one community, one transformation. And I think that every individual that is here has the opportunity to facilitate that process and shape the future of our young people. So I think for us, it's not just about what happens in the classroom, right? Like it's about creating that shared sense of responsibility and the pride that we have, and making sure that we are creating future leaders that are going to be prepared to enter into our community college career and life ready. So it takes all of us to do this, and we should be celebrating all of the work that's happened and the work that will be happening.
And we can't emphasize enough about our core business of teaching and learning, and the goal being that young people exit our schools being college, career, and life ready, and the true portrait of a Hampton graduate.
Correct.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver, for being here today and highlighting the importance of a strong school-community relationship. It certainly has many facets to it, and I am sure our listeners have taken away some valuable insight from our discussion.
Well, thank you for your time today.
And to our listeners, remember, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. As one community, one transformation, we will ensure academic excellence for every child, every day, whatever it takes. Until next time.
Listen to learn more about Hampton City Schools. New episodes of HCS Talks drop on Thursdays. Subscribe and listen to HCS Talks. HCS Talks is a Hampton City Schools production.